Hey, nice to join us today. Today, Jeremy and I are revisiting a candidate who's become a friend, who we worked with for about 4 months from the summer of 2020 into the fall. And this doesn't always happen, but we truly feel he's found the perfect business for him. And I'll let him share more of that with you. And this is sort of our 6-month check-in on how you doing. So with that, I'm going to let Jeremy sort of lead because he and Kishore, I'll let Jeremy introduce Kishore. Jeremy actually knew Kishore in his prior profession.
Thank you, Jane. And Kishore, thanks so much for joining us today. So you and I obviously had the pleasure of working together 20 plus years ago. I know we're both aging ourselves now. At HSBC in New York in the late 90s, and kind of lost touch and then recircled last year as you started to explore business ownership. So maybe just start by just giving us a little bit of a background on yourself and then how you ended up as a business owner.
Yeah, no, thanks so much, Jeremy and Jane, and a pleasure to be with you today. So I spent 25 years in banking at in both New York and London, mostly in the US and New York. And last year, I got to a point in my career where I really wanted to do something more entrepreneurial after working in large corporations for all of my career. It was a career I really enjoyed, and I wouldn't trade a moment of it, but I was certainly ready for that next step. And I was really influenced by learning and keeping tabs on what Jeremy had been doing on LinkedIn. He had posted a number of times about his journey moving from banking into the world of franchises and the success he had had in doing so, and then saw that he had joined with Jane and was starting to help people like me that were looking and thinking about transitioning out of a corporate role to entrepreneurial roles. And that's how we were able to reconnect. So I was very interested in exploring entrepreneurial options. And the more I spoke with Jeremy and Jane, it became clear that a franchise concept for me was the best fit. It had the best of owning your own business, but also having the support of an organization so that you're not just starting from scratch.
That's good. Now you ended up partnering with Valentin BPO. Maybe just tell us a little bit about Valentin, and more importantly, why that rose to the top as you were looking at different businesses.
Yeah, well, one of the things that was so helpful was you and Jane took me through a really strong process where you understood what I was looking for, and came back to me with some really good concepts. And all of the concepts you put in front of me were terrific models, terrific franchises. I ended up exploring 3 of them in detail. What stood out for me about Valentin is that it was an emerging brand in the US. So it allowed me to have the chance to be a part of a growing business and grow with the team. And I also joined them, both owning my own business, but also being part of their leadership team as well, and helping them identify and build the US business in addition. So it gave me really the ability to leverage a lot of the experiences I'd had over 25 years in banking, and then apply that into an emerging brand, which is quickly growing in the US.
Right. And you're what now 6-7 months into that? What's been the biggest surprise so far, either good or bad?
Yeah, so it's funny. Both of you really did a good job of preparing me for making sure that I knew that the first even several, a couple of years, is going to require a lot of hard work and effort, and sometimes the business doesn't come right away, et cetera. Well, the surprise has been how quickly the business has actually come, and I have to give a lot of credit to the Valentin team. It's a really great organization, but I have been pleasantly surprised at how much traction we're getting in the US, and how quickly we're able to grow. So I've had to readjust some of my thinking around projections, and I've actually just hired a couple of people onto my team, which I didn't expect to do as quickly as I have. I thought that was going to be an end of year one event, as opposed to doing it 6 months in. So I'm very appreciative to both of you, A, for preparing me, but B, really more importantly, introducing me to Valenta, because I would never have known who they were except for the two of you introducing them to me.
Well, that's great. It's always good to hear that hockey stick is actually erasing the
Right.
the trajectory of the curve there. Maybe just talk about what's next for you then. Where you're obviously growing that business. How do you see the next 12, 18 months for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's great about and what attracted me to Valenta's model is there is a flexibility in how you build your business. So in terms of I can have as many or as few employees as appropriate, we can focus on a number of their services. And also in terms of recruiting franchisees, which is actually part of my role, that's something that we can continue to do in a meaningful way. So over this first year, I've really spent a lot of time building a high quality team of franchisees that we've recruited into Valenta. They are top-notch people from a number of different industry backgrounds and geographies. We're going to keep doing that, but also we're starting to recruit more and more companies as clients. And that's something that has really started to accelerate more recently as well. So between the two, I think it's an exciting time for me because I expect that I'll be building a kind of a multifaceted business through Valenta, and looking forward to continuing to grow with them.
That's great to hear. Maybe just before we wrap up, just the 30-second elevator pitch on what Valenta does. Tell our audience what.
Yeah,
what
no. Thank you so much for asking. So Valenta's mission is to help companies be more efficient in the way that they operate. And we do that through three core services: process optimization, so going in and helping to a business to understand where they can be more efficient or simplify processes; digital transformation and automation, using tools like artificial intelligence and robotic process automation to convert what used to be manual processes to automated processes; and finally, outsourcing. With operational centers in India, Malaysia, and Trinidad, we can provide our clients with resources that are both specialist or generalist to meet any of their needs. And what's exciting is we are multi-industry, so we work with companies across industries, but we do like to focus in the mid-market. So companies generally that have 10 to 500 employees. And we feel that we have a very unique value proposition because the type of services we describe are offered by a lot of the brand name consulting firms who do a great job, but they're really focused at the corporate and institutional level. We're focusing in the mid-market, where we find that very few companies are offering that full array of BPO services that we do. So it's an exciting time for us in Valenta. We're growing very quickly, and we expect by the end of next year, we have currently 12 US franchisees. That number will be 50 plus by the end of next year. We're typically adding about 2 to 3 a month, and it's an exciting time for us as we grow the franchise team, and we look forward to would love to have more terrific people joining us if they're interested in growing their business with us.
Very, very cool, Kishore. It's great to hear the story, and I'm sure people will be interested to listen to that and to dive in.
Thanks, Jeremy. And I just want to say again, I really appreciate all of the support you and Jane have provided. You both did a terrific job of helping me navigate the what is thousands and thousands of possible franchises I could have looked at, and really helped me make the right decision. And I'm really glad with the decision I made. So thank you for that.
Well, and thank you. Thanks so much. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Kishore, today. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
All right. Take care.